Hello, welcome to another JPizza tutorial, and today we're going to be tackling built-in functions. So, here on the documentation, there is a list of the many built-in functions, and the list will just keep growing. So, we're not going to cover all of these, obviously, but I'd just like to point out that these are here, in case you ever need to see if a function exists to do something, which it probably does. So, let's open up our virtual environment. Let's start messing with some of these. First is the print line function. So this is the famous Hello World program in JPizza. We're using print line, and then we call it using parentheses. What we pass in is called arguments. These are basically variables that are passed into the function. Then the function uses them and spits out the output using the variables you gave it. So we're giving it the string hello world. Let's see what it's going to do. It's going to print hello world. It's going to add a new line to the end. Now, if you wanted to not have a new line, you can just use normal print. And then you can do no new line or whatever you want it to be. No print whatever you pass in there without a new line. Now, you can't really see it because we're not printing something consecutively. But if we were to add another statement at the end, no new line here. Okay. That's broken. So, let's look at some of these other ones. We have field. Field's a very useful one because it allows you to get user input. So let's assign a variable x to field what is your name? What is your name? I can say John. Oh, this is because I'm still in the old environment. Sorry. I'm from the environment we used last tutorial. So if we just change this to name, Jeremiah. Now if we call it x, oh, not x, name, we have the field. This can also just be used to add pauses to your program. Just field, press enter, and now we have a pause in our program. It doesn't continue until we press enter. Alright, now some of these functions we won't be using yet, like append, pop, list, insert, size. Those are all for later tutorials, but stuff like field and infield are important. Here's one you might have seen me use, clear. Clear clears the console. Tongue twister. We just call it by doing clear, and then it takes no arguments. And gone. Everything's gone. Now here are some great ones for controlling things. Is number, is string, all these. Tells you if it's of a certain type. So let's try. Okay. Is number 5. Oh wait, hold on. Is number 5. Now returns true because 5 is a number. But if we type in something like not a number, false. What about just false? False. What if we do this crazy looking thing that we'll learn later? False. Alright. So those are very useful. We can also do is string. Pass it a number. Nope. Okay, so let's try type. Now we can do type string here, and this is going to return string because that's the type it is. Do type 5 num type true bool, which returns the type. So we do type true is equal to bool. It's true. Compared to a string, it's false. So we've got a lot of these that we'll get into later because it does things like use lists or dictionaries. But here's one, the final one we'll cover today. Just floating, and it'll tell you if it's a floating point number. Floating point just means that it has a decimal. So 3 is floating point. 3.00001 is, well, 3 isn't. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. In the next tutorial, we'll be teaching you how to install a very useful tool that we will use for all future development.